Yeah, I have shared my screen. I hope you can see it. Today we are going to look at topic 8, or I'm calling it chapter 8. Today we are going to focus on corporate advertising. Corporate advertising. What is corporate advertising? Corporate advertising, first of all, it's a crucial component. It's a crucial component of companies' marketing strategy. But when we do what we call corporate advertising, we are advertising the company, or we are marketing the company. So when you look at the word advertising and marketing, those are two totally different things. All these things, advertising and marketing, they are used to do what we call to lure the customer, or to actually, these are efforts that are put in place to ensure that a product is bought. Effort that have been put in place to ensure that a product is bought. Like when you look at advertising, advertising is a marketing. We have what we call marketing mix elements, and we also have what we call promotional mix elements. Now, marketing mix elements are what we call the 4 P's of marketing. And the 4 P's of marketing, we have placement. Placement is distribution. We have product. We have price. And we have promotion. So when you look at marketing, marketing is a bigger picture. And advertising is a subset of marketing. Actually, advertising falls under what we call the promotional mix element, which happens to be one of the elements of marketing. So when you go to promotional mix elements, remember we have said that marketing has got 4 P's. They are what we call the marketing elements, and marketing elements are 4 P's marketing. Now, marketing mix elements, we have number 1, promotion. We have the product. We have the placement. And we have what we call the price. Those are the 4 P's of marketing. Now, the 4 P's of marketing, we go to promotion. Promotion, we have promotional mix elements. The promotional mix elements, one of it is advertising. Then we have others like direct selling. Then we have others like what we call public relations. We have others like we have so many. We have promotion. We have what we call personal selling. We have direct selling, and so on and so forth. So when you look at marketing, it's a bigger picture, and advertising is simply one of the elements one of the item that falls under what we call the promotional mix elements. The promotion, which is one of the elements of marketing. So therefore, let's look at corporate. What does the word corporate means? Corporate simply means an organization. An organization. It simply means an organization, or it simply means an enterprise, or a firm is corporate. Anything that is corporate it refers to something like an organization, an enterprise, even such kind of things. Now, when you talk about corporate advertising, it's advertising the organization, the general advertisement of an organization. And corporate advertising is very critical of a company's marketing strategy, because some of the corporate advertising tools that are used include what? Maybe the colors, corporate colors of an organization marketing. The corporate, what we call corporate what? Corporate identity. Corporate identity. Identity, we are talking about the slogans. We are talking about things like the missions. We are talking about things like the mission statements. We're talking about things like the vision. We're talking about all those things falls under what we call corporate advertising or corporate identity. Now, I've said that corporate advertising is a critical component of companies' marketing strategy, and it involves.
Yeah?
So when you talk about corporate advertising, continue, and we say it involves promoting the brand. And corporate advertising involves promoting the brand. When you talk about an organization like Safaricom, Safaricom is a brand. When you talk about an organization like AQ, Kenya Airways is a brand. So it involves promoting the brand. It involves promoting the image. So when you talk about an image is totally different from an identity. An image is fluid in nature, but an image of something can change. For example, how do you distinguish Safaricom from Airtel? It's their image. The image that they have put in people's mind. For example, if Airtel is doing very poorly, this is an example. If it is doing very poorly in its in the business, in the corporate world, it is doing very poorly. They are not making profit. So there is an image that is created in people's mind. So you'll hear people saying, I cannot invest in that company. I cannot invest in this company. I cannot buy products and services that belongs to that company. Why? Because there is an experience that you experience with that company. That one is called an image. That one is called image, and it is fluid in nature. Fluid in nature simply means that it can change over time. It can change. That means if that company is performing very poorly financially, chances are it may perform very well in future financially. So that means it was performing poorly, now it is performing very well. So the image will change. So when you're talking about, it involves corporate advertising, involves promoting the brand and itself. We've talked about the image and the values of a company. What are the values of a company? It promotes the values of a company rather than specific products or services. So it does not promote specific products or services, but it promotes the value. For example, when you look at company XYZ, what value does it have? What are its core values? The core values of an organization, for example, you'll find that it is integrity. You'll find something like customer experience or customer care. You'll find things like those things, integrity, core values. So when you talk about corporate advertising, it involves promoting the brand image, values of the company, rather than specific products or services. We are not looking at the products that you produce, the products and services that you give us. No, we are looking at values that are being promoted by the organization. And we can have various types of values. Like, for example, integrity is one of values. Another one can be independence. Another value, core value that you'll find in some organization. You will also find core values like customer care. You'll also find values like what we call truthfulness. Such kind of things are the values. So corporate image is involved in promoting brand image, the brand, like brand Safaricom, the brand, what we call KCB, the brand Equity, the brand, say for example, Jubilee Insurance, the brand, say for example, Sanlam Insurance, and so on and so forth. Image is fluid in nature. Image comes about with the experience that you do what you have involved yourself in. Like, for example, you have experienced some services from a certain organization, and then you have formed a particular image concerning them. Like, I had some people saying a certain bank is a state-of-art bank. It has its own what? Its own class. That is a bank of the rich. Why would you say that that bank is a bank of the rich? Because the way you are served, because of the way they talk to you and the way they treat you. So that is an image that you create at the back of your mind. The way, the experience that you had the time you visited that bank, that organization for the first time, you formed an image of the organization. Now, then values, we've talked about values. Every organization that exists in the world, usually they have their own core values. And when you talk about corporate image, we are not looking at products or services, but we are looking at the brand, looking at the image, we are looking at the core values of the organization. So if someone asks you what is corporate image, don't talk about products and services. Talk about the image, talk about the values or the core values of the organization. That is what corporate advertising is all about. This comprehensive set of notes will delve into various aspects of corporate advertising, including its definition. We've already looked at the definition, but we also need to look at it, objectives, strategies, advantages, challenges, and case studies to illustrate its importance in the business world. So what is corporate advertising? Now, corporate advertising is a subset of advertising. It's a subset of advertising, and when you talk about advertising, advertising is a promotional mix element. So corporate advertising is a subset of advertising that focuses on promoting a company's overall image. Like if somebody asks you, what would you say about Telkom? What would you say about Equity? What would you say about Britam? What would you say about, say, for example, Jubilee Insurance? So the general overall image of Jubilee Insurance is what we are talking about. It's a subset of advertising that focuses on overall image, that focuses on reputation. Like you have heard people saying that organization, it pays very well. It values its employees. Its employees are usually given bonuses. Every year, they have increase in salary. That is reputation. There is increment in salary. That is reputation. Reputation can be good and it can be bad. You hear people saying, I cannot invest in that company. Why? Because that company, if you invest in it, will lose your money. Everybody that invests in it, since it was established, they lose their money. That is a reputation. Also values. the core values of the organization: integrity, customer care, truthfulness. Those are what we call values. And identity. Identity. Remember, we've talked about identity, but now I have touched more on the corporate image. And we have said that image is actually fluid in nature. It changes. Fluid in nature means that an image changes. It changes with time. The identity don't change. For example, an example of an identity is the corporate colors. You don't change corporate colors just like that. You don't. Like, for example, Safaricom cannot just wake up one morning and decide to change their corporate color to be blue. No, you are confusing the people, the customers. You cannot just say, decide one day that I'm going to change the corporate color of Absa Bank from red, green. You cannot do that. So you talk about an identity is not fluid in nature. Just like you as an individual, can you change your identity, the way you look? You can't. You cannot change the way your nose looks like. You cannot change your face the way it is. Unless even if you put makeups, those are temporary things. You cannot change the way you look. The same case, an organization cannot change the way it looks. So identity rather than specific products or services. So corporate advertising it's not pegged on products and services. It's based on those things that we have talked about. It's based on the overall image, the reputation, values, integrity, and integrity. So what is the aim of corporate identity advertising? Its aim is to establish and enhance a positive perception of the organization. So the main aim of corporate advertising is to ensure that there is what we call a positive perception. That people have got a positive perception concerning your organization. I one day was talking to a friend of mine who had taken a relative in a hospital, and after some days, when this relative of his was in the hospital, a certain hospital here in Kenya, he said that that hospital is not a good hospital. Then I asked him why. He started telling me the way they treat patients. He could narrate that in that particular hospital, when the relative was admitted, there was a lady, because he was not going for clinic, she was pregnant in that particular hospital. So it was an emergency at night. So the only hospital that was close to her, that hospital that relative was admitted. The people who were in that particular hospital, the nurses, the doctors, did not pay any attention. And the woman ended up giving birth on the floor. So that is perception. When people see that, when customers see such kind of things, they perceive your hospital in a very negative way. I also happened to visit a certain hospital here in Kenya. I'm not going to mention its name. And from the onset, from the gate, that is where corruption starts. So the moment I stepped on the gate of that particular hospital, I met a soldier who gave me a number and told me, take this number, when you get in, you will need it. So when I got in, I was told, have you been given an anonymous person? Have you been given a number at the gate? Call that number, because you will not be served here. You can see all the queues everywhere. It is full of people. So you'll have to call the number. So I called the number, and the person who came to assist me. I could jump queues. For example, if there is a queue of people who want to see the doctor, I would jump that queue. The person assisted me to jump the queue, be assisted or something like that. I was also going for an X-ray. I jumped the queue of almost 40 people. I went, received my X-ray, then within 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I was done. And after that, this person told me, now that I have done that, you'll have to pay me, because you can see, you'd have spent the whole day here waiting to be served. Most probably you would not have been served. So that is the image of that hospital still in my mind. That hospital is not a good one. So in other words, we are saying that identity, that when you talk about corporate image, it's all about what? All about perception, image. The corporate advertising, we are trying to do what? Bring a positive public perception of the organization. That's what I'm trying to say. And I believe you have even visited some government hospitals, some government offices, and you had some perception concerning it. Now, what is the purpose? Purpose of corporate advertising, it serves multiple purposes, and one of it is improving brand recognition. What is brand recognition? That people can easily recognize your brand. People can easily say that is a brand, that is Airtel, that is Safaricom, that is KQ, and so on and so forth. The purpose of corporate advertising is creating strong brand identity. One day I happened to go to a career fair. And in that career fair, so many universities that I had visited, many universities, I can't mention all of them. There were many universities that I had visited, including the university that I am in. The people kept asking, even this university is here. It's a very renowned university in Kenya. Even this university is here. They were so shocked that even that university was there. Even this other one, it is here. I did not even have a clue that such a university would be here. So to hear people saying, say university iko hapa. I will not mention the university, but because of the strong brand identity, we have actually done what we call have established themselves in Kenya to a point that even if somebody mentions that university to you, you know very well it's a good university. That is one of universities that are commonly mentioned, that are good in the country. So it also enhances reputation. It enhances reputation. Reputation is everybody has got a reputation, by the way, and reputation comes from works that you. So you'll find that maybe you have good reputation or bad reputation. Like the hospital that I've just given you a story about had bad reputation. There are several others that you have even watched on in the news that have got bad reputation. We are also having other hospitals that have got reputation. I talked to a friend of mine again. The kid was sick and the kid wanted what we call blood donation. And she told me the hospital they visited was a very good hospital. And there was everything, a place where children are playing. They also provided what we call toys for the kid. The room that you are living, there is a very big screen. There is also a video game. Is it a video game? A video game or a PlayStation is there. You feel at home. There are seats there. You cannot even tell whether you're in the hospital or not. then the room that you are in is a self-contained room. There is a toilet there. There is a dining, a small dining there, and a small kitchen there. So she told me that it was the best hospital that she ever visited. And I can actually tell you, when you talk about hospitals, there is also what we call perception and reputation. So reputation is very good, because if you have a bad reputation, you just know that nobody will come for your services. You have a good reputation, will come for your services. And also fostering positive relationship with stakeholders, including customers, investors, employees, the general public. That's what the purpose of corporate advertising is all about. Differentiation from product advertising. So here, we want to differentiate corporate advertising with product advertising. We say that corporate advertising involves what? It involves, let's go back. It involves promoting the brand image, promoting the brand, promoting the image, promoting what we call values for a company. Those are the main aim of corporate advertising, rather than promoting the products and services. Now, let's look at the differences between product advertising, differentiation, how it is differentiated from product advertising. And here we are saying, while product advertising emphasizes on specific goods, see, when you're advertising your products and services, you're advertising your specific goods. Like, for example, on TV, we usually see adverts. You'd see a Coca-Cola bottling company or Coca-Cola advertising a certain brand. One of its brands, say Coca-Cola drink, or Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. We'll see it on TV advertising that particular brand. And also remember, Coca-Cola has various products. It has got various products. It has got products like Fanta Orange. It has got products like what we call Fanta Blackcurrant. It has Crest. It has Sprite. All those products, it has decided to advertise Coca-Cola drink only. So while product advertising emphasizes on specific goods and services, corporate advertising transcends individual offering, cultivate an enduring corporate image and build trust. So corporate advertising looks at the organization in general, organization itself. It doesn't look at products and services. Then let's look at objectives of corporate advertising. So corporate advertising seeks to what? It seeks to achieve several key objectives. Number one, to create a brand awareness. Brand awareness. To make you know that there is this brand that is in the market. When you talk about computers, like Acer is a brand. You talk about HP is a brand. Dell is a brand. Apple is a brand. Techno is a brand. So when you talk about corporate advertising, it enables you to, its main purpose or its main objective to create brand awareness so that you know there is this brand in the market. So increasing public recognition of the company's name. So it wants you to know the name of the company. Like when you talk about Apple, iPhone 13, iPhone 14. So you're talking about what? Company's name is Apple. The product name is iPhone. Also increase public recognition of the company's logo. Everybody wants to have that particular logo of what we call Apple. Visual identity. That if you put several phones there, one is Tecno, the other one is Samsung, and the other one is Apple, and the other one is, say, for example, Nokia. You can identify the Apple or the iPhone 14 on the several phones that have been placed on the table for you. That's what we are saying. That brand awareness is very important because it helps you recognize certain brand among many. Another objective of corporate advertising is reputation management. Reputation is very good, especially good reputation. We also have bad reputation. So reputation management, here we are saying that enhancing or restoring companies' reputation in the face of challenges or crises. So there are some organizations that have faced a lot of challenges and they have got what we call negative reputation or bad reputation. And when you have bad reputation, upon you as an organization, do what we call build your reputation. Try to make your reputation better. Like we had a supermarket in Kenya that used to be funded by the government, but again, it used to collapse many times. The point that people had a very negative reputation about it. Investors don't want to invest in such supermarket because it collapses, and the moment it collapses, investors get very little out in terms of money invested. In terms of the money invested, so that one brings about negative reputation of that organization. So stakeholder relationship, and it strengthens relationship with stakeholders such as customers. That's why you'll hear people saying, I like this brand, and I cannot use any other brand. These who use makeups and what we call makeups and those things, perfumes, find that you like a certain brand that if you don't even trust other brands. So that shows that because of corporate advertising tries to do what? To strengthen that relationship with stakeholders. Stakeholders such as customers, that customers buy your product in plenty, also bring other customers. Also employees, you have had employees saying, I like working with my organization. You have also had others saying, I wish I knew I would not have applied for that post in that particular organization. Investors and also community. And there is also what we call value communication, that an objective of what we call corporate advertising is that conveys the company's core values. This one we have said it, mission and culture to the public. Culture is a way of doing things. I've heard people saying this organization is very serious. A 9 has opened its doors. It keeps time. If you go there by 8, stop, be opening the doors to the customers. They keep time. By 5, you are not there, they close their doors. It's like the way banks operate. You know very well, if you are in town and you have got something to do in a certain bank, by 5, you'll find that that bank is closed. At 9 a.m. is open. So that is value communication. It conveys the company's core values, such as culture of the culture to the public. You also hear people saying, I like your organization because of how you dress. You dress professionally from Monday to Friday. What is the culture? Culture is a way of doing things. So then the next one, objective of what we call corporate advertising is to attract talents, attracting high caliber employees. If you're a very good organization, there are several good organizations in Kenya and around the world, find that they attract high caliber employees. Portraying the company as an attractive and responsible employer. Also influencing public opinion. A corporate advertising is there to influence public opinion. Shaping public opinion and on social and environmental issues by promoting companies' values and initiatives. That if you don't like, say, for example, products and services of a certain company, if you have got a negative perception concerning a certain product from a certain company, by corporate advertising, they're trying to shape your opinion. Like if you watch so many adverts on TV, you hear that, like there are some adverts going on TV, like Garnier. Garnier is a product, is a serum. Remove dark marks on your face. And when you see that advert, it tells you that when you use that serum, within some few days, if you have got dark marks, then they will disappear. Maybe you did not trust that, but when you see the advert, it changes your opinion concerning that particular product. Maybe you had negative perception concerning the product, and maybe you said that this one cannot work. There's no way. I've tried so many cures, my face remains like that. But when you see an advert of the sort, you tend to do what? Tend to change your opinion towards what you think about the product. So what are some of the strategies for corporate advertising? Any question so far? Do you have any question before we proceed? Question. So let's look at strategies for corporate advertising. Corporate advertising employs various strategies to meet its objectives. There are so many strategies corporate advertising uses to meet its objectives. One of it is image building. Image building. Image building simply means they create and maintain a favorable image, showcasing company's strength, showcasing the company's accomplishment, and by contribution to the society. Remember, we did CSR. CSR is corporate social responsibility. That one shows the contribution of the organization to the society. So when we are building the image of the organization, what we do is that we showcase the strength of the organization. We showcase what we have achieved over the years. You will hear an organization saying, we have over 120 branches across the world, or over 500 branches across the world. It was established in 1952. Until now, we are still strong. What is image building? What are you trying to communicate? You're trying to tell us that you know what you are doing. You have never failed. You're doing what? You are growing strong. And you have no even aim of failing in future. You have no aim of closing the business in future. Because you can see, we started in 1952. Until 2024, we are still strong. So you are trying to tell the people or the customer or the public that we are the best company in the world. Next point, a strategy that is used by corporate advertising is course marketing. Course marketing simply means is associating with social environmental causes to demonstrate its commitment to the social responsibility. Yeah, many organizations are doing this. You find that they do what? They associate themselves with social or environmental causes. You hear an organization has gone and they are cleaning Nairobi River. They are doing what we call CSR. Or you hear an organization that it has donated 5,000 computers to a certain school in Kibera or Mukuru kwa Jenga slums. That one is called cause marketing. Or you hear an organization, they have invented a paper bag that is environmental friendly, that it's biodegradable, that hata ikienda kwa mchanga bado hiyo paper bag itaozea huko. Very good example is Quickmart. Not Quickmart, but Nakumatt. Nakumatt came up with, Nakumatt actually closed down all its branches in Nairobi and across the country. And Nakumatt had come up with a paper bag. They said that this paper bag that you usually package your products, or that you usually put your product when you buy them, this paper bag is biodegradable. That if it fall on the soil or if it is buried in the soil, it will just do what we call, it will to not affect the soil, and it will be converted into soil. It will become part and parcel of the soil, something like that. So those are what we call social environmental causes. So when you see such things, these things they attract the public, also even the government. There is also what we call some strategies of corporate advertising is reputation management, addressing a negative publicity, a crisis promptly, honestly, and effectively to build or safeguard the company's reputation. When you talk about reputation management, suppose you are an organization XYZ, let's call you that, and maybe there was a crisis in your organization. Maybe the crisis was staff went on strike because of poor, maybe lateness, salary, delayed their salaries and something like that. So of course, the image of the organization has been destroyed in some ways because it simply shows that you don't pay your employees on time. So now, strategies of corporate advertising is what we call reputation management. We need to manage that reputation. We need to manage everything so that at least your reputation remains to be good. For example, let's talk about a supermarket in Kenya, which was called Tuskys. Tuskys had a very good reputation, by the way. Also had an uncle who used to work with Tuskys. And he used to tell us how Tuskys is good. It got to a point when they were facing a crisis, and the employees were so silent about it. And they hoped that things are going to get better. So they were not being paid their salaries. Until one time we saw these people almost going to the streets saying that yet we need to be paid. We have not been paid for these months. We have done what we have been patient enough. But that is a crisis. Imagine people outside the organization, like other publics, they know very well that you are good. You are the best supermarket, by the way. And all of a sudden we see such things. What do you think will happen? So corporate advertising, it addresses negative publicity and crisis promptly. honestly and effectively build to safeguard the company's reputation. Employees engagement and stakeholders engagement. Let's look at advantages and disadvantages of corporate advertising. Advantages of corporate advertising. Number one, there is what we call long-term brand equity. Number two, there is also what we call crisis management. With what we call corporate advertising, it helps to manage and mitigate crisis effectively. By doing what? By having a pre-established positive brand image fall back on. Like you have heard people saying, that bank, it's a reputable bank, it cannot do that. Because for many years, people know that have been so good. So when it comes, as something like a crisis happens, people will not trust it. Not say, they will actually say, that one, it cannot happen. If it is that bank, no. If it is that organization, that one cannot happen. That is a propaganda. And maybe it is true. We even hear people saying, that bank, they serve customers very well. That bank has never let me down. That bank, they serve us promptly. So if you are telling us about that bank, then you are lying. And maybe it is something true about them. Simply because when you talk about corporate advertising, they're so good in that. Unapata issue, jitokezi vizuri kwa public. Public watakutetea because you have got a very good public image. Then there is also what we call stakeholders trust. The stakeholders will trust you. You see your organization being advertised on TV. You develop trust and confidence about it. You develop trust that whatever you are doing is good. Whatever you are doing is worth being advertised. So if you are an employee of a certain organization and you see your organization being advertised on TV, you feel good about it and you feel so proud about it, and it builds trust. Trust, the small trust that you had concerning your organization, it is made big, or it is enhanced, something like that. Also provide, or it also create employee morals. It boosts your morale. When you see your organization being advertised and your products being advertised on TV and even on YouTube, before you watch a video, it is an advert from your company. It is running. When you are walking in town, you see billboards. When you look at it, those billboards are from your company. It gives you a morale that we are not doing bad. We are a strong organization. I thought we are very weak, but we are very strong. Look at those billboards. Look at those adverts that are running on YouTube. They are running in major, what we call social media. They are very strong. It builds employees' morale. It also builds what we call the confidence of investor. Last time we talked about investor relations. We said that it is a requirement by the government that financial institutions should publish financial statement on national newspapers. So when an investor wants to invest in an organization, and he finds that they have the cost, the liabilities are this much, and what we call, we have liabilities, we have the properties, and we also have made this profit. We have worked for the past, for example, 50 years. That one builds the investor's confidence. The investor will say, I want to invest in this bank. When you look at their properties, vis-a-vis their liabilities, they're doing very well. So what are some of the challenges of corporate advertising? It can be difficult to measure the direct returns on investment. Like when you advertise your product on TV, it's difficult. Advertising, by the way, it's very expensive. It's very expensive. Advertising is very expensive. So when we advertise our products on TV, or no, when you advertise our organization on TV, our core values, our core values and others, it's very difficult to know the return. Very difficult to say that this advert has brought us 30 million in return. It's very difficult. So it can be difficult to measure the direct returns on investment, corporate advertising, as it operates in a more abstract level than product advertising. Very difficult to know, because it's very difficult to know that our customer tumewapata because of advertising ourselves on TV. Increase in sales, they have gone up because of advertising ourselves on TV. These sales, you can say, what about the organization's values? It's very difficult to know if you are doing corporate advertising. Remember, corporate advertising is not about products and services. It's about the whole organization. Itakuwa ngumu kujua kama hiyo advert imeleta value yoyote, haijaleta value. Consistency, it's very difficult to be consistent. That's why you find that some companies advertises themselves for 1 week, they disappear, then they come after maybe 3 years. It is very difficult to be consistent because remember, advertising is not a walk in the park, not a cup of tea. It's a very expensive affair, very expensive. So to maintain the consistency, it is going to be very difficult. The next one is crisis handling, and we are saying handling crisis effectively and preserving a positive image during difficult times requires skills and resources. Imagine you are a reputable organization has been involved in a crisis. Now, maintaining or preserving a positive image during a crisis, that is one of the most difficult things to do. Imagine your employees are outside, people or the public knows you as a very good employer. Know you as a good employer, and even people desire to work in your company. Other people, or the public, or other people outside the company. I wish I would be working with this organization. I wish, and you have a lot of what we call applications on your company from people who really want to work with you. And all of a sudden you see people going on strike that you're not paying them salaries. My friend, to work on that crisis, it is going to be very, very, very difficult. It is going to be very difficult to actually convince the public that it was a mistake, or that it was not your intention, or that something like that. It is going to be very difficult when it comes to that. Then balancing act, I want you to read on balancing act. So we have various case studies there of corporate advertising. To illustrate the importance of corporate advertising, here are 2 case studies of companies that have effectively leveraged corporate advertising to achieve their objectives. One of the company is Coca-Cola, and I can read this, I can say, Coca-Cola, one of the world's most recognized brands, uses corporate advertising to emphasize its core values and commitment to social and environmental responsibility. So the companies, Open Happiness, these are slogans, campaign, is an example of corporate advertising. It promotes a message of positivity, it promotes a message of unity and happiness. Through this campaign, Coca-Cola has successfully built an image as a brand that promotes joy, brand that promotes togetherness. By the way, during Christmas, you will find that Coca-Cola usually advertises themselves. You can see togetherness there, by eating together, taking Coca-Cola together, going beyond its traditional product-centric advertising. So when you look at Coca-Cola, it does not advertise other brands. And if it does, rarely. Only advertise what we call Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, the brand. We also have another product here called Apple. Apple is a brand. Apple is a brand. The Apple is another company that has effectively used corporate advertising to establish a strong brand identity. So they have what their slogan called Think Different, a Think Different campaign, the late 1990s. Celebrate innovative thinkers, encouraged individuals to embrace their unique qualities. And so this campaign not only positioned Apple as a leader in innovation, also inspired a sense of identity and aspiration among its customers. I'll conclude by saying, in conclusion, we talk about corporate advertising. It is a strategic tool that companies use to build and maintain a positive image. Positive image is perception. Establish brand equity, brand identity, communicate their values and cultures to the public. It's a long-term investment in companies' reputation, and it plays a crucial role in gaining the trust and loyalty of stakeholders. All these things, we have said them. While it comes with challenges, effective corporate advertising can yield substantial benefits, as demonstrated by the case of Coca-Cola and Apple. As business continues to navigate an increasingly competitive and socially conscious environment, corporate advertising remains a vital element in the overall marketing strategy. Having said that, I think we've come to the end of today's lesson, unless there is a question.